Okay, man, I'm not gonna lie to you. This hurts. It especially hurts when, it's from someone that you're close with. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie to y'all and act like this isn't a big factor. Why you've been dealt a crappy deck, man. And what advice could I ultimately give you besides, focus on what you can control, right? Because I know, man, that when it comes to just growing as a person, that your environment is a huge factor in this, man. If you're in a toxic environment, it's going to be nearly impossible to heal from the same environment you got sick in, right? And really, how I look at it, man, if your family isn't supporting you or your goals, is you pretty much have two options, bro. It's, number one, you can just suck it up and deal with it. Or number two, you can just move out, right? Both of these suck. At some point, you're going to have to embrace the suck in both aspects. But with number one is, let's say that you just have to isolate yourself. You have to just sit in the room. You just got to suck it up and deal with it, right? You can try and be proactive and like set some boundaries. Let your parents know that, hey, listen, I will not tolerate this. But I know in certain households that shit ain't gonna fly, right? In certain households, you can't just isolate yourself from everybody. So you're gonna have to do what a lot of us do and just suck it up. And you can do that. Or number two, you can just move out and, become independent, right? And let me tell you, man, as someone who's had their own apartment, peace of mind is everything. I've had a crappy apartment. It was trash, but it was my apartment and it felt great. But on that same token, you're now taking on something that you're financially stuck with, right? And it's a financial risk, right? Because you're going to have to work a job. You're going to have to grind out these hours and you cannot lose your job because if you lose it, you got bills and then you can become homeless, right? So they're both risk involved, but at this situation, man, you're in the lesser of two evils, okay? But guys, other than that, man, that's just really how I see it with these two options. And what's the saddest thing about this is that your parents are sometimes your biggest haters, right? What it is that your parents actually care about you. Your parents give a shit about you. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to want you to choose the safest route instead of the route that's most fulfilling, right? And while the safest route isn't what you want per se, it gives them comfort knowing that you do this. So that's why, your grand ideas are always met with, doubt or, or disapprove, if that's a word, right? Parents have a weird way of doing this. There's this thing called this herd mentality. They can sense when you're trying to just, leave the herd and they'll naturally subconsciously try to deflate your dreams. My parents do this a lot. My parents are like, oh, this is going to look great on your resume. And yeah, this is going to look great when you're hiring for jobs, me doing YouTube and stuff. And that's how they like subconsciously try and deflate it. So, we all have to deal with that in some sort of sense. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm really not trying to be negative, man, but I'm just real as hell with y'all, man. Another hard truth, man, is that people don't care. People don't care about your dreams. People don't care about your potential. The only thing most people care about is what you can do for them, right? Because humans are inherently selfish and it's not a bad thing, but that's just how we've been designed, right? And another thing is that, most people need results before they start fucking with you, right? Because your siblings aren't fucking with you, your friends aren't fucking with you. Most people need to see results and they need to see that, oh, other people are indeed, in fact, messing with you before they hop on that bandwagon, right? That's just how the world is. And I'm not trying to make this a gloomy, pessimist video. It's just, these are some realist ideologies, right? And once you take that red pill and you're able to recognize how the world moves, you're going to be able to operate in a different fashion that's going to gear you towards success, as opposed to just running into this shit with a blind eye, right? But with your parents not supporting you, man, the way I see it, like I said, you've got two options. Either you stay there and tolerate it or you move out and get your own place. But there is one thing you can never do, and that's this. And that's, guys, if you're watching this, never tolerate disrespect, because this is what the root of the video comes down to, right? Never tolerate disrespect. Let's say that you set some boundaries in your life and someone violates it for you, right? You can do a couple of things. You can either do number one, which is, cut off all interactions and cease hanging out with this said person, right? And sometimes this is like the best case scenario. Best case scenario, you move out of your apartment, you live with like 4 or 5 roommates, cheap as fuck, and you get your own peace of mind, right? But sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes this option isn't there. So number two is you correct this person, you stand up to them, right? You recognize that, hey, I am not a person who's going to be disrespected and you are not going to treat me like this. And regardless of the outcome, you're going to reinforce that idea in your brain that you're someone of value and you're not going to be treated like a doormat, right? And number three, worst of all, you just do absolutely nothing and let it slide. See, that's the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do when someone disrespects you is not do a damn thing, because all you're proving to that person and to other people, and even worse yourself, is that you allow that type of behavior. You allow that to happen. And it just shows everyone else that they can treat you like a doormat. But even worse, this shows yourself that you can treat yourself like a doormat. And listen, man, the human brain is crazy. Never allow disrespect, because the human brain will convince itself that, hey, you know what, maybe I am deserving of this disrespect, right? I know we all like support, and truth be told, I think we all can flourish from support sometimes, but just sometimes, man, you're not gonna have that. And I can relate to that, man. When I was building this channel, the first like 4 or 5 months, I was lonely, guys. I was in monk mode. I didn't hang out with my friends. And you know, when I would hit like accomplishments or what I have failures, I'd want someone to share it with, right? Someone to talk with and connect with. But a lot of the times there's no one there. There's no one there. It's just you. And that's powerful, because it's just you. You are your most powerful asset. You are your biggest support. So that's why it's so important for you to take care of yourself. And you need to respect yourself and respect the value that you bring to the table. The best way to increase the amount of respect that you have for yourself is to do things that make you respect yourself, right? Consistency. Build something that's great, man. Build something that's going to bring value to other people, but most importantly, bring value to you, right? And I'm a big believer that this is all a process. Life is just one giant process, and everything you face is meant to shape you into who you want to become. So, you know, maybe if you're someone who's dealing with your family not supporting you, maybe this is a step for you to become independent and to fully leave the nest. Or maybe this is time for you to learn how to really set boundaries, right? But that's just my best advice, man. You know, between a rock and a hard place, right? So guys, I'm out of here, man. If you like this style of content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm out of here. Deuces.